Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Beautiful You Show. Today I'm going to be doing a book review for you. So I didn't plan on reviewing this book, and usually I like to review more self-help or sorry, I guess there's a moped race going on outside. But usually I like to record more self-help type of books, but I really enjoy this author, so I'm going to share this book with you. Let's see. I don't have the physical book because I read the audiobook, so I'm going to review. Oh, can you see it? It's called Turtles All the Way Down, and it's by there. If you can see it from here. Turtles All the Way Down, and it's by John Green. So John Green is a really popular I guess they call it teen lit. He wrote The Fault in Our Stars, and then I don't know if you guys have ever seen, that was made into a movie, and then he also wrote the other book, Paper Towns, that was also made into a movie. And so I've read all of John Green's books. He has An Abundance of Catherines. He has Looking for Alaska. There's another one that he co-wrote with the same guy from Everyday. Everyday was made into a movie, and that is a really good book, but it did not translate in the movie. And that's because in the book, the narrator's voice is really strong, but the way they did it in the movie, I feel like they left that part out. And so if you never read the book, the people that watched the movie had a hard time connecting with it. Let me see who wrote that book with him. Will Grayson. That one is a great book for anyone that is experiencing it has a I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say that book is LGBT friendly. Is that the way to say it? So Will Grayson was written by John Green and David Levithan. So David Levithan is the one that wrote the book Everyday. Anyways, back to John Green. So I've read all of John Green's books. I think he's an excellent writer. He really captures the teenage voice, like, if you can say that, the adolescent voice. He also covers different topics, like in that other book I talked about, Will Grayson, he covers homosexuality, and then in a lot of his books he covers death and dying, or Fault in Our Stars. They both had like a terminal, I think one had cancer. I'm not sure if the other main character also had cancer. So in Turtles All the Way Down, he covers mental illness, and the narrator's voice in this book is a teenage girl, and you hear how it is to be who she is and how it is to go about in the world. And then what he did that was really awesome is you get to hear how it affects not only the person experiencing it, but the other people around her. And I think that's really important because for some people that aren't experiencing mental illness or experiencing traumatic events or things that just really affect them mentally and emotionally, it can be really hard for people around them to understand their experience and how difficult it is to go about being in the world. But anyway, Turtles All the Way Down, it wasn't my favorite John Green book in the sense where, and it's nothing to do with John Green, it's just I like happy endings. So I like when everything is all sewn up and fixed, and all the characters end up with I don't know. Let me just preface that by saying John Green doesn't usually have happy endings for his books. He really has realistic endings that mirror how things usually happen in real life, and that's something I appreciate about him. He's not always trying to make everything sound good. He does a great job of making things sound the way they are. And you still can enjoy his books. And that's hard. I think a lot of people feel they always have to leave the story with kind of like a upbeat type of ending. And this one left me wanting more. So I don't know if he's going to continue this book, but I've had that effect with a couple of his other books. But they're still really good books. He's a great writer. And I like that he captures the adolescent spirit really well. And he doesn't make them, what I think he does best is he makes them sound like real valuable people. Because I think as we get older, we tend to disregard the teenage experience. But so many of us, that was like that was a time when it really affected us. We experienced a lot. That's when you're breaking away from just the thoughts of your family and you're exposing yourself to the outside world, the real world. That's when you are gaining independence and you're trying to find out what you really enjoy, what you don't enjoy, what you stand for, what you don't stand for. All the while, you're trying to be liked. You're trying not to be rejected by your peers. It's a very trying, it can be very traumatic. It can be a very unsettling, uncomfortable time for some people. And he does a really good job of giving voice to that and showing that, teenagers, adolescents are experiencing something that everybody experiences. They're finding out who they are. They're finding out, their voice. They're struggling with being liked, being validated, being seen, being heard, being rejected. And then they also have to manage these really traumatic events. A divorce, a death, an illness. But Turtles All the Way Down, it's a really good book. I don't want to give away too much. I just want to kind of do an overview. So in this book, there's 3 main characters. So you have the main person, which is a teenage girl, and then you have her best friend. Her best friend, the character of her best friend is really fun, really cool, really quirky. I think a lot of readers will enjoy her. She's really intelligent. They talk about fan fiction. So a lot of teenagers are into fan fiction. They're writing on Wattpad. Some write on I don't even know if Tumblr is a thing anymore. But some are writing on their Tumblr. And there's all these different outlets that people are writing on, and that's where some people are getting like actual book deals. So you see her character, the best friend's character, and then you also get to hear her voice about how it is to be the best friend of someone that's experiencing mental illness. And then you have another character, which is kind of like a romantic interest, and he has a whole story going on with him, and their stories all intertwine. It's a quick read. It didn't take too long. Even though I had the audiobook, I think it was like a few hours and then it was done. I would recommend any of John Green's books. My favorite is Will Grayson, the one he wrote with David Levithan. And I also enjoyed An Abundance of Catherines. It was really cute, really quirky. My daughter, she's 21 now. And maybe about 3 years ago, she read Looking for Alaska, and she really enjoyed that. My niece also enjoyed that book, Looking for Alaska. And then everybody fell in love with A Fault in Their Stars, which is funny because I liked it, but I don't know. I just preferred his other books. But if you like A Fault in Our Stars, you can still hear the John Green voice in Turtles All the Way Down. And I won't tell you what Turtles All the Way Down means. You got to read the book to find that. Another thing I noticed about John Green's book, sorry, I was about to end this and then I just remembered something, is he likes to, in this book, and he also talked about it in the other book, he likes to talk about constellations and the stars. And I really enjoy that aspect because I remember like growing up, like thinking about constellations was one of those things that if I could ever, like if I could learn to play the piano, if I could learn about constellations and the stars and galaxies and universes, and that just seemed really interesting, but I never got around to it. But he includes that in the book. So it's a good read. It's a quick read. I recommend it for parents and for teenagers because I think a lot of parents can be disconnected from their teenagers, and it's a time when teenagers are kind of gaining independence, and so they're kind of breaking away from their parents. And for most parents, they don't understand that, and they tend to like leave their teenagers alone. And I don't think you should do that. I think you should still try to connect with them. So this is a good book to help parents have more dialogue with their teenagers. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and let me know if you have any questions. Remember, beauty is all around you. And there's some beauty in this book. So I hope you look into reading it or getting it. Sorry for the noise outside, but I'll check back with you guys again. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.